Oh, I'll be right back. Okay, seriously, you guys, I can't keep cleaning up your sex toys. They're so small, they're getting stuck everywhere. What? Oh, hey guys! So happy for you to join me so soon. Shit! I'm really excited about this issue. Where do we begin? Next week, a pretty big movie is getting released on a pretty well-known character.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
He's one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. He's definitely one of my favorite villains. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, that's my nip. I grew up with the guy. No, I don't mean like a dad. He didn't raise me. I meant like I grew up like reading the comics and like watching the show. I probably should have just said that. So far, his time on the big screen really hasn't been awesome.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
Oh God, yeah, we don't need to relive that. On this issue of the Nerdgasm, we're going to be looking at the history and evolution of the character Venom, as well as why I'm excited and nervous for this movie. I really wish we had a budget, you know? Because we could do like a CGI, like you could do like the symbiote over me.
We are Venom.
Don't you need like a green screen or...
Still getting hit by arrows. I know it's a lot, but it looks great on the monitor.
They did it naked? What do you mean they do it naked? Tom Hardy was naked during Venom? Really? That's how they did the... Cool, okay. So there's a couple different origin stories of the character Venom. But the most popular one always starts with the character of Eddie Brock and the infamous black suit, and surprise, surprise, Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man's not in this movie. I know, it's confusing. I'm gonna touch back on that later.
Whoa, what?
Let's just focus on the story of Venom.
Your history, Brock. Out of here. Fired.
This main story follows Eddie Brock as a working and struggling photographer for the Daily Bugle. Ever since Peter Parker showed up with better photos of Spider-Man, he's putting Eddie out of work. Eddie is down on his luck and starts becoming envious of Peter.
What is that stuff?
One night, there is a broadcast of a spaceflight mission on the moon disrupted by what looks like an alien substance.
NASA Control is now estimating that the shuttle will reach impact in the Hudson.
Before anyone has a moment to react, Peter springs to action, and Spider-Man is on the scene. Spider-Man eventually does his thing.
Colonel Jameson.
He quickly heads inside, and he saves the crew before the ship explodes. We quickly see that the black substance is on his costume.
Rich.
Spidey makes his way back to his apartment and strips his suit off before heading into bed. Peter blacks out and next finds himself on the side of a building wearing a brand new black suit.
For a second, I thought I was going out of my mind.
The suit is extremely responsive, gives him even more strength, and bonds with him on another level.
You're definitely my kind of suit.
Peter starts to notice the more he wears the suit, the more it begins to change and consume his mental state.
Don't you have a class?
He eventually discovers the suit is a living organism and follows the characteristics of a symbiote. Alright, I'm just going to cut in here real quick, because I keep using that word symbiote, and you're probably thinking, hey, what the fuck is that?
Hi, I'm Hugh.
Oh, and Elmo's Elmo.
Yes, and we're here to tell you about a very important word.
It's actually the word of the day, symbiote. Symbionts. Basically, a symbiote is a living organism that lives off and feeds off of other living organisms. It's a lot like a parasite.
Oh, I have a parasite. Yeah. Name is Jen.
And then once it's done with that host, it ditches it, moves on, thus becoming stronger and even crazier.
Well, Doc, what do all the
Alright, so as Peter discovers the symbiote is living off of him and making him a horrible person, he decides that he needs to remove it. But how does he separate himself from the symbiote?
From that suit of yours. They're bonding.
Well, remember, Peter is a very intelligent scientist, and he eventually discovers high-pitched sound and intense heat is a big trigger for the symbiote.
Going dark.
He decides to visit the biggest church in New York and decides to give those church bells a ring. A ring-a-ding, a ring-a-ding-ding.
Makes you crazy. I should have guessed that before.
The symbiote becomes in such agony, it literally tears itself off of Peter.
But why didn't I know
It is at the same point that Eddie is in the same church, contemplating killing himself.
Stay away from me! I thought I wanted what you had to offer, but
Eventually, the symbiote finds itself bonding with new host, Eddie Brock. Spider-Man 3 did an okay job of showing this in the story. The actual scene of the suit consuming Eddie Brock, I will give them that. The symbiote feeds off of Eddie's desperation and anger and creates Venom, an anti-Spider-Man.
Eddie Brock isn't the same guy he once was. Why don't we introduce you to our better half? We call ourselves Venom. We're your old clothes, kid. Your hand-me-downs. The symbiote that Peter Parker tried to destroy, Eddie Brock has embraced.
He's bigger, stronger, and better than Spider-Man in every way.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
Venom seeks out to destroy Peter's life, and after tormenting Peter for some time, he is eventually outsmarted and defeated by Spider-Man.
We're made for each other. Brock's rage and vengefulness made us a perfect breeding ground. Far better than you, Parker.
Alright, so now we have a better understanding of how Venom came to exist and how his powers work. You can imagine the biggest thing that has me nervous about this movie is the fact that Spider-Man is not there.
God damn it! Shit!
I am impressed and I'm very intrigued with everything they've released so far for Venom.
The way I see it, we can do whatever we want.
And it is very smart for Sony to base this movie off of the Lethal Protector storyline from the comics. In the Lethal Protector storyline, Venom and Spider-Man decide to make a truce. Spider-Man allows Venom to exist, but he can only protect the innocent. Venom decides to go off to San Francisco and leave Spider-Man to protect New York.
I'm Eddie Brock. I'm a reporter. I always seem to find myself questioning something the government may not be looking at.
While Eddie is living in San Francisco, he discovers a company, the Life Foundation, is testing with multiple symbiotes and develops something of a symbiote family. We already know that the other symbiotes are in the movie, with Riot already confirmed from the trailer.
At a cost.
In the new movie, it seems that Eddie gets consumed with the symbiote while he is investigating the Life Foundation. This little change of the origin story is enough to justify Eddie becoming Venom, not relying on Spidey just yet. While they can make Venom its own thing, they can't ignore Spidey forever. Eventually, Venom will have to make his way into the MCU, or at very least, Spidey has to make an entrance in Sony's own Spider-Man universe. Yeah, that's right. Sony is developing their own superhero universe, and they're just focusing on the villains right now, starting with Venom. And why? Because Sony sucks. Sony still has no idea what they're doing. They really don't understand that they need to just team up with the MCU.
God damn it!
When production first began on this movie, they announced that it was going to be rated R, which was even better.
What the hell are you?
Sony pretty much said Venom was going to follow in the footsteps of Deadpool and Logan.
You're about to be killed by a Zamboni!
We're not going to include Spider-Man, this is just going to focus on Venom, then at least give us the most badass, murderous Venom that you can.
We will eat both your arms and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off your head. You will be this armless, legless, faceless thing, won't you? Rolling down the street like a turd in the wind.
Sony being Sony, and realizing so close to the movie coming out, how confusing it is for fans that Spider-Man is not in the Venom movie. They have officially made it PG-13 because the plan is to eventually include Spider-Man in the future movies.
Dude.
Oh my god, so let me just recap that. So Sony made a big deal about making this separate universe that doesn't include Spider-Man. Really excited to do this Venom movie. It's going to be rated R. 2 months before the official release of the movie, Sony's like, what? People are confused that Spider-Man's not in it? Okay, we'll just make it PG-13 and then we'll throw Spider-Man in the sequel.
Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just...
Larry! Oh, are you alright? How did you...
It's absolutely insane, it's ridiculous, and it's no surprise that this is what Sony is doing. I could have told them right before they started making this movie that if Spider-Man's not in it, people aren't gonna understand! Fucking Sony, god damn it.
God damn it.
It's also been reported that Tom Hardy has signed on to play Venom for 3 movies, depending on the success of the first movie. At first, the idea of 3 Venom movies sounds insane. It's too much. But I think Sony has the potential to make something really epic out of these 3 movies. And let me tell you what I would do with a Venom trilogy, the way that Sony has it right now. They can focus on Venom and the family of symbiotes for the first movie, as it looks like they're doing. Venom destroys the symbiote family, with Carnage spawning off of Venom at the end of the movie.
Maybe our spawn, but that won't keep us from destroying.
The sequel can focus with Eddie moving on from San Francisco. He decides to make the move back to New York and get back to a more familiar routine. The symbiote learns and discovers Spider-Man, and becomes very interested in his power. The symbiote is always looking for a stronger host. Venom eventually separates itself from Eddie and makes its way onto Spider-Man. They can do the whole black suit storyline. While Spidey is battling his conflicted self with the symbiote, we can have the storyline focusing on Eddie's separation anxiety, rage, and jealousy from the symbiote leaving him.
Okay. You win.
Peter decides to separate himself from the symbiote, and Venom makes his way back on Eddie, making him stronger and angrier than ever. We can have that whole epic Venom and Spider-Man showdown. And eventually, Spider-Man defeating Venom, and instead of killing Eddie Brock, he separates the symbiote off of Eddie, put it in a laboratory as he tries to study it and figure out a way to destroy the symbiote. And then for the third movie, just go out on the highest note and do Maximum Carnage. One of the darkest storylines in Marvel Comics, Maximum Carnage focuses on the Carnage symbiote going on a killing spree in New York. He gets so ruthless and powerful that Spider-Man and Venom have to team up to take him down. By then, Tom Holland will be older, and it'll be more believable that he'd be ready to take on an enemy like Carnage. Also, Woody Harrelson is rumored to be playing Carnage, and is supposed to be making an appearance in the first Venom movie. Woody Harrelson playing Carnage? I am so down. And the fact that he might be teased in the first movie? Again, do not introduce Carnage unless you're going to do the Maximum Carnage storyline. Come on!
Come on! Come on! Come on!
Come on! I'm just going to give you guys a quick little rundown of Carnage, especially since he might be introduced in Venom.
What's wrong? Cassidy is gone. There is only Carnage!
Carnage is a symbiote that spawns off of Venom and eventually bonds with a death row inmate by the name of Cletus Cassidy. So Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer and he bonds with the symbiote. Basically is just an absolute fucking killing machine and goes on a killing spree. Woody Harrelson would make an incredible Cletus Cassidy and an amazing Carnage.
I haven't cried like that since Titanic.
Now, while this all sounds great, and this trilogy sounds like it would be amazing, remember, this is just my idea for it. This is what I hope they're doing, but it's Sony, so really, who fucking knows? Let's get this trilogy made, guys. Let's get Charles lots of money, and then I can make movies, and I can make you nerdgasm everywhere.
Oh my god! I'm sorry! I can't stop coming! I'm sorry! Oh, it feels so good!
So I've thrown a lot of information at you guys, but you can basically see why I love the character of Venom so much, why regardless of how this movie is, I'm gonna go see it. It's definitely better than Spider-Man 3, and that was the most important thing.
Now dig on this.
I love Venom, I love how he looks, I love how he sounds.
So many snacks, so little time.
My biggest worry is that it's not going to make them $1 billion and they're just going to cancel everything.
That's it! Back to Winnipeg!
Let us have Venom and Spider-Man. Sam Raimi at least tried to do it. He fucking shit all over it, but at least he tried to do it.
I did my best! I did my best! I did my best! I did my fucking best!
Despite all my worries, let's just get excited for this movie. Let's hope that we're at least going to have some wicked scenes. And who knows? Maybe it'll be good. Maybe Sony will actually surprise all of us.
Pretty good.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And please subscribe on your way out. That way you can see the latest issues of the Nerdgasm right when they stream. What? You said that I have to be naked to be Venom. Well, am I Venom? Guys, am I Venom?
All right, have it your own way.
Mask!
Copy.